To echo Jeff's words and to Michelle's words, I also want to congratulate all of our graduates on this special day and welcome their parents, their friends, their siblings to share this special day with them. Today's a big day, the culmination of your studies and the granting of your degrees. However, before you get your degrees, we have one small two-question test for all of you to make sure you're ready to go out there in the world, okay? And the first question can be answered by anybody in the class, and that question is simple. What am I holding in my hand? Legos. Children's building blocks, something everybody in early childhood should recognize, okay? Children's building blocks, like the building blocks you've received here at Erikson, okay? If I open up this box, I will find big blocks. These are the blocks that give the little thing I'm building stable foundation, similar to your course in human growth and development you had here at Erikson. There's smaller blocks which give the object its shape, like the course you had in family and culture. And finally, there's those specialty blocks which gives each little item its uniqueness, like your preschool curricular approach. And I'll bet if I looked in this box, I could even find a little Jeff or a little Anisha. You are going to use these blocks you've acquired to begin formal education of the next generation, maybe two. Clearly, you face a formidable task ahead of you. As I look at the changes that have taken place over my lifetime in education, it's an ever-changing environment, especially in the area of early childhood. I wish I could predict the future for you and what you would face, but I'm not a psychic. Some people say psycho, but not a psychic. However, let's take a look back to when I started in the education system and see where we've come. My formal education began when I went to kindergarten, where I learned such things as there were 8 colors: red, orange, yellow, green. I learned some basic shapes: square, circle, rectangle. I learned to play a musical instrument, the triangle. Very easy, ding, and it worked. However, when I was in kindergarten, reading wasn't something we did. I didn't learn about Dick and Jane and Spot the dog and how they could all run until I got to first grade. However, with these meager beginnings, based upon what kindergartners today know, I eventually achieved a master's degree and successfully started my own business. Not bad. A mere 8 years after I started school, 2 other individuals, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, started in kindergarten. Now, by the time they got there, they probably had the 16-box crayons. They learned a few extra shapes, and they could count to 20 without taking off their shoes and socks and using their hands. They might have even begun to read. Despite his meager beginnings, Steve Jobs pioneered 2 technologies. And I give Steve the lion's share of the credit for the first personal computer, that little thing called the Apple 64, which has revolutionized society and added a powerful tool to the education process if used correctly. But to me, his greatest achievement was the advancement of the cell phone. When I was a child growing up, the phone was a big black device tethered to the wall with a cord, and it moved about as far as the cord would go. Okay. When I was growing up, we had what was called a party line. Not an 800 number you called and say, hey, what's happening tonight? But a line where 2 households shared the same phone line. And so before you could make a phone call out, you had to pick up the phone, see if the other party was on the line, and if they did, you had to wait till they were done. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 hours, depending on how prolific they were in their conversation. Today you have a cell phone. Not only can you make calls in, calls out, get calls in, you get text, you get emails, okay? You can get your sports scores. If you have the DirecTV app and NFL Sunday Ticket, you can watch your favorite football team play on your phone. And instead of being tethered to a wall, it fits in your pocket of your purse. Pretty remarkable. Though Steve Jobs gave us the personal computer, without Bill Gates, its everyday use wouldn't be as widespread as it is. He revolutionized how we use the personal computer so that anyone without computer programming knowledge or much formal training can turn one on and using a device called a mouse to open and run complicated programs or play a game. Child's play. And I've discovered too, many of us old people use the computer because of this ease in using it. And now we have a tablet, which is even just easier to use, and I know is already being introduced in early childhood education for kids to play educational games to help them learn. We have become a technological society, and it's only to get more so very quickly. We're going to have to learn to run to keep up, especially those of you that will be using these new technologies to deal with young children. Now, when I was in kindergarten, I never dreamed of going to college, let alone getting a master's degree. The closest thing Steve Jobs came to a cell phone was 2 tin cans and a string. And the only mouse Steve Gates probably ever saw was the one that was furry and ate cheese. Okay? However, and I believe me, what I've achieved is nowhere near what they achieved. But I believe the three of us have something in common. Somewhere along the line, there was a teacher or somebody else who was there to encourage us, to believe in us. Okay? Maybe if we were being lazy, to give us what they called the proverbial swift kick in the you-know-where to get us started. I bet everyone in the audience could probably remember some person like that who affected you as you were growing up and learning and becoming an adult. Every child needs a champion. Will you be that champion as you're working with early children? Who knows what that child's going to accomplish? Maybe how it will affect mankind. Maybe that child, through your encouragement, will discover a cure for cancer. Okay? Will discover cold fusion for energy. You have no idea what it is, but you have great responsibility, and I'm counting on you to make Erikson proud. Let's turn back to our little box of Legos here. There's 3 things I can do with this box of Legos. The first one is I can take it home, put it on my shelf, and look at it and admire that I have a box of Legos. You can take your Erikson degree, put it in a frame, put it on a wall and say, I've achieved, look what I've done. And that's okay. The second thing I can do with this box of Legos is I can make the little front loader here that's on the box with all the little blocks in there. You can go home, take your Erikson degree, use it in your everyday jobs to do them a little better. Lastly, though, I can get creative. I can pour these blocks on the floor and decide I can make anything my imagination will create. Okay? The possibilities are almost endless. That is true of your Erikson degree. What you can accomplish with it is almost endless. So now the second question. Tomorrow morning when you get up and you're getting ready to go somewhere, and you're looking in the mirror and you're brushing your teeth or combing your hair, ask yourself this question. What will I do with my Legos, my Erikson degree?